Fatima's story begins in the quiet villages of Yemen, where the sun rises over rolling hills and the scent of morning bread drifts through narrow alleys. For years, behind the closed doors of her modest home, Fatima endured a reality that remained invisible to most, a reality shaped by fear, silence, and the heavy shadow of domestic violence. She was in her early 30s, a mother devoted to her children, and yet her days were marked by isolation and pain at the hands of her husband. The abuse she faced was not only physical, but also psychological. Each harsh word, every withheld permission, and each time she was forbidden from seeing her family built invisible walls around her, cutting her off from the world she once knew. She bore these hardships quietly, her resilience fueled by a deep love for her children. Fatima believed, as so many do, that her endurance might shield them from the worst of their father's anger. She clung to hope. Perhaps things would change. Perhaps her patience would be rewarded with peace. But as the years passed, hope became harder to grasp. The violence did not subside. Instead, it became a suffocating routine. Fatima's world narrowed, her dreams faded, and her spirit dimmed under the weight of her husband's control. Yet, even in the darkest moments, a small spark remained within her, a spark that refused to be extinguished. It flickered with every stolen glance outside her window, every quiet prayer for safety, every whispered promise to herself that one day, things would be different. That spark grew each time she saw the fear in her children's eyes, and knew deep down that they deserved a life free from violence. One day, when the burden became too heavy to bear, Fatima made a decision that would change the course of her life. Summoning courage she scarcely knew she had, she reached out to a local women's center, a place whispered about among the village women, known to offer support to those with nowhere else to turn. It was a step fraught with fear, reaching beyond the walls built around her, risking her husband's wrath, risking the unknown. But Fatima understood that the greatest risk lay in doing nothing. At the center, she found more than just a sympathetic ear. The women who greeted her were themselves survivors, women who understood without words the silent suffering etched in Fatima's eyes. They offered her legal guidance, explaining her rights and the possibility of seeking a divorce, an option that once seemed unthinkable. They provided psychological support, helping her process years of trauma and rebuild the confidence that had been systematically eroded. For the first time in years, Fatima felt seen, heard, and believed. With the center's help, Fatima began the difficult process of seeking a divorce. It was not an easy path. The legal proceedings were complicated, and social pressures weighed heavily on her. In her community, divorce carried a stigma, especially for women. But Fatima pressed on, drawing strength from the knowledge that she was not alone. Every woman at the center had faced similar challenges, and together they formed a sisterhood of resilience. The day she secured her freedom was not marked by celebration, but by a quiet, profound sense of relief. Fatima and her children moved into a small home provided by the center, humble but theirs. The walls, once silent witnesses to fear, now echoed with laughter and the gentle rhythms of a new life. For the first time, Fatima was able to make choices for herself and her children. She enrolled them in school, determined that their futures would not be defined by the violence of their past. Financial independence, however, was a new challenge. Fatima had never worked outside the home, her world previously confined by her husband's rules. But the center offered more than refuge. It provided opportunity. Fatima joined a small business project run by Women for Women, making handicrafts and selling them in local markets. The work was hard, but it filled her with a sense of pride and possibility. With each item she crafted, she stitched together pieces of her life that had been torn apart. Through her work, Fatima not only supported her family, but also became part of a community of women lifting each other up. They shared stories, advice, and encouragement, celebrating each milestone, mourning each setback, and always reminding one another that they were stronger together. Gradually, Fatima's confidence grew. She learned how to manage her earnings, how to advocate for her children, and how to trust herself again. Today, Fatima stands as a testament to the power of resilience and the impact of collective support. Her journey from isolation to independence was neither simple nor swift, but it was transformative. She is more than a survivor, she is a provider, a protector, and an example to her children that dignity and hope can be reclaimed. Her story is a beacon for others still trapped in silence, a reminder that with courage, support, and determination, new beginnings are possible, even after the longest night.